The show might be called The Ones Who Live, but this episode should have been called Everybody Lives because there was no major deaths in Season 1, Episode 3 of The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment here for Episode 3. It was called by. We got a lot of deaths in episode 1 and 2. Well, maybe not a lot of deaths, but we got important deaths in this episode. I guess they slowed down a little bit. We didn't get any of that, but still, it was a decent episode. It's continued where this show started. It's good. I wouldn't say it's great. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's a decent show, and it's probably some of the best Walking Dead content that we've seen in at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
Absolutely. It's aesthetically pleasing. You look at it, there's new locations, like the mountains. When they seemed they were flying through the helicopter, it was like Alaska. You've got the snow, you've got the pine trees. You're just so used to The Walking Dead of the same old evergreen trees in the forest with a road with a couple of leaves on it. It's actually so refreshing to see this. Like, see when Rick's walking around in the CRM compound, it looks like some The Last of Us. It actually does. Would you not agree with that?
I don't think it looks as good as The Last of Us.
It doesn't, but it looks similar.
But yeah, it looks... It's a different look for what we're used to seeing in The Walking Dead.
I think that's what held The Walking Dead back for me.
I can approve of that, because for too long in The Walking Dead, it was literally just a group walking through the woods. Every episode, every season looked the same.
Yep.
I mean, you look at TV shows ain't normally like that, but The Walking Dead, I mean, it was hard to differentiate between the seasons based on the look. Maybe if a character had cut their hair or something like that, but overall, the locations were pretty much the same. It didn't matter where they went. Every location looked the same, and that shouldn't be the case.
No, it shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't be. But it's funny how you said cut your hair, because we're going to have to start this episode at the distant past. We've got Jadis and Rick not long after Rick's incident on the bridge.
I like the intro. There was 3 different time frames. There was one from a few years ago. There was one from a few moments ago, a few hours ago. Then there was your current time frame. So I think they did a good job of the intro.
No, they did, but my problem with the intro is that you've got Rick here talking to Jadis, which is obviously the very distant past, not long after the incident on the bridge. And if you remember, on the bridge, right, Rick is looking about 65 years old. He's got complete grey hair. It's like a skin fade. He's got the greyest beard known to man. How could he have grew his hair out in the space of a month?
Well, maybe Jadis saved him in more ways than one, because he de-aged to about 20 years.
No, he had, but... See, if you're going to base a show, right, off this timeline that's got the fairy past and then the recent past and the future, the current timeline, I think you need to differentiate in the looks. They did it with Jadis. She cut her hair, which Rick will call out later on in this review, but Rick looks no different. I don't get it. How can you have Rick throughout the show, right, the actual franchise, he cuts his beard, he looks 10 years old again, then he's rage, uncivilized Rick, and skin fade grandpa Rick. And then this one where you're actually properly trying to differentiate between the years and the time skips, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah, anyway, I like the intro. Years was Rick seeing Jadis, finding out that he had saved her. Hours ago was Rick enlisting Thorne's help and making sure that Michonne made it to consignment despite being suspected as an A and not a B. And the now, obviously, segment was Jadis basically saying to Rick, if you and Michonne try to escape, I'll let Bill know.
Have contingencies in place.
Contingencies in place.
Have receipts.
Yes.
So should Rick be willing to let that slide? I guess he can't really do anything.
Well, what can he do? She's already got files. She says that if she dies, the truth will be known. So Rick's sort of in a hard place right now. He probably wants to kill Jadis, but he knows that he can't really kill Jadis.
I think the Rick in the past, though, with a bitter throat out here and ran over to her dorm room and fucking looked for where are the letters? Where's the receipts, damn it?
Yeah, so we see Michonne getting familiar with the place, the operating base. Obviously, she's not this damsel that she was pretending to be, saying that, I've been on my own, I need help, I need numbers. She doesn't look like somebody that needs numbers. She looks like someone that's more than capable of surviving on her own.
She does, and she doesn't do a very good job here, though, of trying to stick to that rhetoric of, well, I'm a damsel in distress. No, because she goes into complete badass mode here, as some people that would like killing walkers would say. She starts slashing them up after some ones that aren't exactly dead, supposedly should be dead in this pile of walkers, but they rise up, and then she just cuts them down, hacks them down. Oh, it looks like you are serious badass after all.
Aye, she's a badass. Speaking of a badass, we got to get a burial, I guess, or some form of memorial for Okavar. Beale was saying, General Beale was saying quite a lot of nice things for him. Well, not General Beale, Captain Beale.
The man, top man.
Top man.
Commander, the Führer. Maybe not that terminology, but this guy he's a good actor, Terry O'Quinn. I like him. Liked him in Lost.
But we haven't seen much of him.
Yeah, what are they doing?
We've seen like maybe 2 minutes worth in the first episode.
Is it less is more?
He wasn't in episode 2 at all, and he had like maybe one. I think he did 2 appearances in this episode altogether. So yeah, we haven't really seen much of Commander Officer Head General Beale or whatever his title is in The Walking Dead. If somebody wants to let us know down below, then let us know. Rick comes up with a master plan to escape with Michonne. He draws her a map. They're not going out together though, they're going separately. Michonne gets to the destination point. Turns out Rick's provided everything. He's got like a rowing boat, he's got her equipment, and he's also staged a death that looks like Michonne. There's someone wearing Michonne's uniform and just face plant it in the mud, but it's not Michonne. Rick is trying to make it look like Michonne, and Rick's not coming. So Rick promised Michonne that he was going to try and escape with her, but for some reason that isn't the case. And Rick is basically going to sacrifice himself. But the next day, Rick finds out that didn't happen because Michonne didn't leave. She came back. Rick says, "Why didn't you leave?" And Michonne's like, basically, "I'm not leaving without you." However, I don't understand this. Rick thought it was he could stage Michonne's death, but wouldn't Jadis know about this? Wouldn't Jadis be still willing to sabotage Rick? Because when Rick speaks to Jadis and Jadis can't believe that Michonne attempted to leave without him, Jadis' big reasoning for not allowing anyone to escape is because they need to keep this place a secret. They need privacy, and if someone manages to escape, it could put this base, it could put the CRM at a disadvantage, it could put them in trouble, it could open them up for attack, so therefore no one is allowed to leave.
Yeah, my problem with that though as well, it's what groups are out there, right, that could actually pose a serious threat to the CRM?
Well, we don't know. I mean, maybe the Saviours, if they can multiply by 100.
Oh, I know, but they're gone at this stage.
Oh, they are gone. But my point is, I don't see why Jadis was okay with Rick helping Michonne leave. That didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
Couldn't Michonne be leaving to go to Alexandria and get all the groups? Couldn't they be reuniting? And I know you're saying, well, who can really challenge the CRM?
But that still applies if Rick goes, but she's got a problem with that. So it didn't make much sense to contradict
Well, that is
herself.
literally what I just said.
Yeah, no, I'm being devil's advocate here, right? I'm trying to defend this show. But I think this is a pretty... I mean, I wouldn't say it's a major plot hole, but like in the space of like 10 minutes on screen, Jadis is completely flip-flopped. Like, what is the difference if Michonne leaves by herself that could reveal secrets, or if they both go and reveal secrets?
And you could argue if Michonne leaves, then she's going to be bringing back some sort of rescue party for Rick.
True.
So I wasn't too sure
but
why...
Rick points out, here, there always has to be an inside man to get you out of here, buddy. That's how it works.
Yeah, but obviously Michonne didn't leave, so her and Rick are reunited. Pearl got promoted also in this episode. She takes Michonne into their unit. They go out on a mission. Rick wants Michonne in, so Pearl, I guess, thinks that she owes Rick one. She brings Michonne out with them. We also got a lot of Okavar talk in this episode. We can see that Okavar saved Pearl's life and that she is like indebted to him and that she is feeling, the brunt of his death. I wonder how she will feel when she finds out that pretty much Michonne is responsible for killing Okavar. She hasn't really put that one together yet, but of course we know that Okavar died because Michonne was with Nat and they killed her, or they killed him.
Yeah, I definitely think that's going to come out at some point. Pearl's going to discover that Michonne, in fact, was the one that fired that. Well, it wasn't actually her that fired it. I guess it was Nat that killed Okavar, but she was a part of the team. She was part of the
She
team.
killed everyone else. She would have killed Okavar if he was still alive.
Rick killed one of them, to be fair. Rick walked over and dropped one of his own CRM buddies.
Okavar would have been killed, right, if he survived. That's obvious.
I did like as well that Rick buried Jadis' new haircut.
Yeah.
Are we going to bury our new haircut?
Alright, let's go for it.
It's if you ever played pro clubs on FIFA, it's like the most generic skin fade you'll ever get for a woman, man. It's like, see what she had in the flashback part of this episode? Why not just keep that hair? I get it when you're a soldier. They do like to tend to keep you have short hair, but come on.
Is it because she's a leader and they just wanted to try and portray her as more masculine?
Yeah, but look at Pearl, for example. She's got her in a bun.
Yeah.
That's what you go for. A bun's acceptable. It means you've got the option if you want it out long. Cutting it short means you've cut it short,
Well,
that's it.
fuck Jadis and her shitty haircut. We see Pearl then basically assigning Michonne to the mission with her and Rick, but it looks like at one point Pearl was going to maybe kill Michonne and Rick wasn't going to allow that to happen. He was ready to draw his gun. But Pearl must have eyes in the back of her head because she knew that Rick had pulled his gun.
Yeah.
She thought that Rick was
I doubt she heard it.
She thought that Rick was pulling his gun to protect her, but in reality it was to stop her from shooting or stabbing Michonne with her knife. So I don't know what was happening there, but Pearl referred to Rick as family. It's obvious that Rick doesn't feel the same here.
No, absolutely not. You don't feel for a second that Rick's ever going to be torn between Michonne and this Pearl woman.
Yeah, even when Okafor died, it's not like Rick he wasn't too upset about it. He didn't really care. They go out on a mission. Michonne gets told to basically, right, you're not got any weapons, just you stand the line. And Michonne just doesn't listen. She breaks formation.
Protocol.
Rick obviously then breaks formation as well to help Michonne. We see them pushing this cart. And it was something to do with walkers. Walkers were
Delts.
Yeah, walkers were potentially closing in on some sort of power base that they had, and they needed to try and get them away. So it just seems like...
How many walkers, though, are actually running about at this stage of the apocalypse, man? It feels like we're just wheeling out millions upon millions of them.
This just felt like a reason to try and shoehorn walkers into the episode.
Yep.
It wouldn't bother me if they didn't have walkers in the episode. I didn't
You've
really
also
like
got
this.
Pearl here, right? She can't get the cart out of the mud. Michonne walks up first time, fucking near sends it out the woods.
Yeah, and it's not like Michonne's this big butch fucking woman. Like, yeah, she's muscular, but it made Pearl look incredibly weak. Michonne and Rick run off and they have a little kiss, but then Rick's like, no, we need to go back. We can't escape. They go back. They're helping kill the walkers. We see Pearl again pull out her gun. She's got Michonne in her line of fire, but Rick manages to stand in front of it and he's like, only 10 walkers left, 10 delts left. Rick is seen again. Rick sees Pearl line up the shot at Michonne and he didn't really seem as if he was dying here to stop it.
No, he didn't really. Yeah, because he could have done a lot more. And see if Pearl wanted to, right? Michonne would be dead right now, and Rick would have been sitting there, not being able to do anything. He kind of just said, "Oh no, you don't point your gun that way. There's actually 10 delts over there." Delts. There's a lot of this. There's a lot of talk going on here, like terminology that we're just not really familiar with. I can't imagine, right, that the casual viewer is sitting there understanding this delt talk pish.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, we actually break this down. We make a lot of fids, and you know it's our job here on Fog Entertainment. We know a lot about TV shows. If you're a casual viewer, I can see why this is confusing.
worst paying job of all time. But yeah, definitely confusing here. I just don't know why they can't use the same terminology talking about delts. Why can't we just call them walkers? Like, I know that's what Alexandria called them. Rick's like, I call them that, so you can't call them that, or else they'll put two and two together that we know each other. But, I mean, there's only so many fucking certain names you can call these things.
Biters, zombies, whatever. But see the walker terminology. Pretty much everyone in the actual show used that. There was the odd people that didn't, but most people did.
Aye, I know Woodbury used biters, but that was pretty much it.
The biters.
And then
Biters, Merle.
that's pretty much it. Everyone gets eliminated. They're going home, and the chopper. Rick is adamant that he can't leave, but he's going to make sure that Michonne escapes, and this time she's going to have to go, or else he will knock her unconscious, and he will literally drag her out of the CRM and out of the base, and he will drag her back to Alexandria on his own. She doesn't take kindly to that, and then just randomly opens the helicopter door and grabs Rick and throws them both out the helicopter door, and that's the end of the episode. I mean, she didn't even check to see if they were like above water or above land. It doesn't look like they've got any form of parachutes on them.
Yeah.
She just opens the helicopter door and tosses them both outside.
Which could result in them both dying, but of course that's not going to happen.
Now, there
folks.
was a bit of turbulence and stuff, so I mean, I don't know, maybe this chopper's going to go down anyway, but it just felt completely forced and unnecessary. The fact that Michonne opens up the helicopter door and pulls them both out of it. I didn't get the point of it. I get it, she wants them to escape, but I mean, fuck me, you really just jumping out of a helicopter?
Yeah.
no plan.
I'm going to
nothing.
guess they fall in water, but there's no way she was looking out the window and be like,
Plus, it was really dark.
There's a body of water that I know we will fall in and live. There was also a point in this episode where Michonne ran into this artist who it appears that her, Judith, and Carl went to previously to like draw portraits of themselves, and Rick as well. But where does that fit in? How could Carl have met this guy? And then, is this guy not a threat to like blowing the whole mission up if he knows about Rick and Michonne's relationship? Could you not argue that?
Who cares? The whole blowing it up, it doesn't really make sense to me because Jadis was okay in this episode with Michonne escaping.
Yeah, but I guess if this artist guy goes to like Commander Beale or somebody else, like here, that woman that came in, she knows Rick. That could open a can of worms, but I'm going to open my review score rating and I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10.
I'm also going to get a 6 out of 10. Decent episode. Not great, but decent.
If it continues like this, then delivers on like its finales and premieres, you've got a decent show.
Yeah, we do have a decent show. 1 season show. I think it's been confirmed only 1 season. We'll look into that and we'll confirm that. But yeah, The Walking Dead, The Ones Who Live, we're halfway through. And I think it's pretty good. Surprised that nobody died this episode. But maybe they're saving some character deaths for the finale and the later episodes. What I will say is they haven't actually introduced that many characters, so therefore, I mean, they can't really be afford to killing multiple characters every episode.
Absolutely
or
not.
else you'll get to the finale and there'll be no one left.
Yeah, you can't kill off like 4 characters that you introduce every episode. And they pretty much did that in the first 2. This episode, it was quiet.
I mean, they're teasing maybe killing Pearl here or teasing maybe killing Jadis, but it's not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen, folks. But I'll tell you what is going to happen. More content on The Ones Who Live. We'll be back with a promo breakdown and more Theory Fids throughout the week. But until then, bye.